So next we have Karl Paterson, who is Group HR Manager for Senator. His role includes leadership of the HR team and activities, health and safety and quality assurance across the multi-sited Senator International operations. He has a diverse HR generalist experience from working in privately owned entrepreneurial organisations, including Cast Metals, Western EU and Northern Technologies. Senator, of course, has been heavily involved with our initiatives at Burnley College and the creation of our industry's Northern Powerhouse. Karl.
Hello everyone, my name's Karl Paterson. I'm representing Senator today, and we want to share with you really how we're currently filling the skills gap. Pete Veal mentioned earlier about best practice. I think I'm not going to say to you that this is best practice. What I want to share with you is what we think we're doing and the way that we're doing. We think we're doing things right. And I think that's the message really, doing what we think is right. And if it starts to work for you, then maybe that is best practice for you individually as your business. So that's how we're filling the skills gap. We're trying to do what is right. And what you'll see as we go through this is that we're spending a lot of time and effort in doing what we think is right. And perhaps going at times that extra mile, what is probably best practice and probably over and above really with regards to what we're doing in all the different areas. But Senator as a business now employs 1,200 people. We're based in the north, Accrington. You've probably heard of Accrington Stanley, that's where we're based. And things aren't too grim up north for us at the moment. We're doing well as a business and really enjoying some excellent times. This is Colin Musto, who's our current founder of the business and our chairman. And really I think if the whole business, the whole family is still involved in the business. So Colin, his son, managing director, his wife, daughter. So that even though we have 1,200 people as such, that family ethos still pervades throughout the business. Established in 1976, and last year was our best ever year, and this year looks like it's going to be even better. So I think with that, when a business is doing well and you have the resource to invest in training, development, look after your people, then that certainly has benefited us. What I want to do now is just share with you some of the things that have been mentioned with regard to links with schools, apprenticeships. We have a very healthy graduate scheme as well, and then ultimately finish with a particular skills gap that was mentioned in the report with regard to sewing skills and how we are trying to fill that gap as well. And it's just in its infancy, but we'd like to share with you what we've done as Senator with regard to that. Now, a couple of months ago, my son came to me and he said, Dad, in resistant materials, we're designing and making a coffee table. Is there any chance I can come to Senator and have a tour and have a look how you make yours? Well, absolutely. So there he is, about third in from the right. I said, well, don't just you come, invite the rest of the class, invite your tutor, let's get them in. Let's show them. And that became part of our initial school links there. And they came for 3 or 4 hours. We gave them a tour. We engaged with them individually. They were directly involved with our production supervisors there. And also we took opportunity to introduce them to the Make It programme. Now I think Andy Chalice is going to mention that later. Make It programme is naturally, hopefully, what can enhance what these young people are doing. So although they will design and make a coffee table, then ultimately if they entered this competition, Make It competition, then it could be judged nationally, and maybe these are some of our young furniture makers of the future. So in the future, these could be our apprentices, and really these are year 10s if you're over 40 years. and they had a great time. So we're encouraging them to pursue this Make It programme. What we want to also do is outline to you what we've done in terms of the different areas of apprenticeships. Now, we're really proud of the fact that we've covered the 10 areas of apprenticeships. Now, although we are a furniture manufacturing organisation, you can see the periphery of other supporting areas as well. And I know Paul is going to speak to us later from Burnley College on number 6, the CNC technician section there. As we saw that technology was coming more and more into our business, when we're talking about CNC machinery, robotics, laser technology, we then wondered how we could then accredit our apprentices with those kind of skills. We were juggling two qualifications. So ultimately we partnered with Burnley College to then write our own qualification, which then became accredited with City and Guilds. So we're really proud of that section there, CNC technician. Another 2 areas as well, although I'll talk about sewing later, that is a real struggle for us to get young people to come into the industry to pursue a sewing apprenticeship. We are sewing pieces of fabric for upholstery. It's not sexy. How can we make that appealing? So we are offering that as an avenue, but certainly struggling a little bit with making that appealing to young people. So we're pursuing a different avenue. Recycling is a new area for us as well this year. We recycle, we have a separate recycling plant to our business, and what we do is we offer that any furniture that we deliver, the packaging then we take back, we recycle, and ultimately it's become its own revenue stream. So we're offering our first apprenticeship in recycling this year, and that's going well. And then ultimately as well, what we realised is we run our own fleet as well, so that we can look after, from a customer service point of view, if we're in control of our fleet of wagons, then we can make sure that it gets there to the customer. So 99% on-time delivery is what we're proud of, but we've noticed as well that we have an ageing workforce with regard to our HGV drivers. I think nationally that is the case. So this year, again, 2 HGV driver apprenticeships we've offered, and a local training provider we've engaged with then to develop that. So I think the message there is really to research all of the different areas within the apprenticeship scheme. If you're enthusiastic about apprenticeships, there are so many different areas there which you can explore in terms of engaging with training providers to provide that as well. So these are our wonderful apprentices, and there's around about 30 on programme at the moment in all those 10 areas. And when I mentioned at the beginning about perhaps going that extra mile, when we think about succession planning and retention, what we've done to make sure that we get the right apprentices and keep them is make sure that we invest heavily at the recruitment stage. Many training providers and colleges will test and interview for you. But although Burnley College does that for us, we go through a 3 or 4 stage programme with these apprentices, from testing, so we look to test them in numeracy, literacy, mechanical aptitude and spatial awareness, depending on where they're going to be in the business. We've also invested in test rigs as well. Pneumatic and hydraulic test rigs. So if it is on the maintenance side of things, they then come in, and if they get through the first interview stage where they're sat across with us, then they spend time with the teams. So they'll come in and spend half a day with the teams. We will set them a little test on the test rigs. They'll come into the restaurant and have their lunch, and culturally to see whether they fit in as well. And we found that this is really excellent to make sure that they get a feel for the business and they're fitting in. So that's an extra way that we've felt as really paid off. Spending time with production staff or with the staff where the apprenticeship is being offered, so that we can then ultimately find out whether they've got the senator fit. We've also recently decided to raise the apprenticeship pay rates as well. So although there's a recommended pay rate, and we've always paid above that, but we even in the last few weeks we've increased that by another 15 to 20%, which ultimately we think will it's not the only thing that will keep our apprentices, but I think it's a gesture to them to show that we value them as young people, and we want to really look after them. Something that's really become quite prominent in the last year or so is our graduate programme. So those are our graduates, and they have joined us from various universities in the area, Salford, Preston and Bolton, and some of them have gone through furniture product design programmes in their degree. But particularly our graduate programme, we look for graduates that have come through a business-related degree. And what they do then is they come on programme 2 each year, and they go through an 18-month programme. And it takes 18 months for them to perhaps be exposed to all areas of our business. And they go through a 2-month and a 1-month cycle. So they maybe spend 2 months in larger departments, perhaps in production areas, and then 1 month in maybe marketing or HR, health and safety. And that is the way they go through all the programme. After about 12 months, what we say to them is, listen, you can come off the programme if you want. If there's an opportunity you'd like to go for it. So we try and match their aspirations, their skills with the business as well, to see what it is, where they're going to fit. And ultimately, when they do the 2-month programme, at the end of the 2-month programme, we ask them then to present their findings, their recommendations, and they get the opportunity to present in their report and their presentation in front of the management team. So that is working really well, and we're building up a really good pool of resource there with regard to our universities. What we do as well, over and above, perhaps, you'll see fortunately, just across from Senator, we have an activity centre. So we engage the apprentices, the graduates and the supervisory staff in an activity day. So quite hairy, but you'll find it, the centre one, that's 30 foot high is that tree. The apprentices and graduates will run up there with gusto and jump off and whack that ball, whereas the supervisors are clinging on and not happy with the challenge. But what that day does is it gives opportunity for them to spend time together, to team build, to really bond and build lasting friendships, and particularly with the production staff as well, to really bond with the apprentices and the graduates. So over and above, we don't have to do that, not necessary, but it works for us. And because of that, we've been acknowledged at the Inspire and Achieve Awards by Burnley College, and we were proud to win that award today. So let me finish on how we are developing the area, or how we're filling the area of our biggest skills gap. What I want to show you now is a 17-second video which is on YouTube, which is part of a bigger process video that just pans through and shows you our sewing room at Senator. Hopefully this will work. So this is our sewing room at Senator. Found about 50 ladies who sew. That isn't just by choice that we've chosen ladies, but that's what the industry tends to supply us with. We've identified, and we know this nationally now, that sewing is one of our biggest skills, potentially skill shortage areas. £45 million worth of revenue goes through that room. If we lose our sewers, we lose £45 million worth of revenue, and most of our prestigious upholstered furniture, and that we can't afford for that to happen. We're not getting apprentices, enough of them, so we are partnering with Burnley College to develop our own sewing premises, and also with a organisation called the Business Growth Hub. And as part of them, they have a textile growth initiative, and there's millions of pounds available to develop this initiative. So if the ones in this room who have that particular dilemma with regards to how they perhaps resource something like that, the Textiles Growth Initiative is certainly one area that we could tap into. The lady we spoke to was a lady called Celia Thornley, and I said, I'm going to be seeing probably around about 100 people in a week, and they're going to be asking me how they tap into this textiles growth. She says, well, we go from North Yorkshire down to the Midlands. So I said, what about people who are in the south, maybe, who would like to tap into this? Well, she said, she didn't necessarily say, no, you couldn't, but there's potential that some of that funding could be available to support textiles growth and the development and training of ones in the sewing industry. So that's what we're doing currently, working with Burnley College to identify premises. We're a consortium of member companies then to maybe contribute to buying sewing machinery, etc. Then ultimately, once we've got the resource, to partner maybe with the job centre, etc. Certainly people who would want to build a career within sewing. That would then build a pool of people. It's a natural resource then for us to draw on to support our member companies. So that's what we're trying to do. Rather than perhaps whinging about the fact that there's no sewing people out there with sewing skills, let's invest and train so that we can build this resource and be self-reliant. And that's what we're trying to do. So hopefully what I've presented to you here, if there's anything that resounds to you as a business with regard to what we're doing as Senator, in really investing in our people, training them, it's not a secret. We'd be happy to share that with you, and we'd love to talk to you after the session. Thank you very much.